Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a book chat on the book A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is a book chat, not a book review, so it is going to get into a lot of spoilers. I do have a book review that's non-spoiler for the first one, so if you're interested in this series in general and you kind of want to just get an idea of what it's about without being spoiled, I'll have that video linked below. Getting into the book chat though, I did like in this book that we finally got to see a little bit of Colleen'S perspective because I couldn't stand Helene in the first book. I know a lot of people really like Helene, and if you like Helene, that's completely fine, but I can't stand her in the first one. I just felt like she was supposed to be this awesome character. She was supposed to be able to just kick so much butt, and she was just kind of like this lovesick girl, and I don't mind if she has feelings for Elias, and it's really hard for her, but she just behaved so petty all the time. In this one, I definitely think that her being away from Elias was good because she behaves so stupidly. She behaves stupidly when she's around Elias. I do really like seeing the internal conflict of her character of being loyal even when loyal means doing bad things and then wanting to do good things. I'm still not all for some of the actions that she takes. I get that she's in a position where it's really difficult and she's surrounded by bad people and she's not like she has the options really to make great choices. But I mean, I don't like her still. I just want her to either go all out and be loyal and have the struggle internally, but do what it takes and kind of fall into this place where it's like you're kind of a villain, or just stand up for what you believe in and be like, no, I don't care, like this isn't right. Helene's parents were pretty boss though. I really liked that. Well, okay, I didn't like that they died. I thought that was really sad. But I did like that when they went out in such an awesome way. They're like, hey Helene, deal with it. It'll be fine. Her one sister was so obnoxious. The one that was like, I'm gonna be Empress and you're just jealous, Helene. Like that, I mean, you know, I wasn't sad that like she's out of the picture now. I do really like the plot point of her other sister, the nice one, living. We didn't get a whole lot of Marcus, even though we were with Helene so much. We didn't get a lot of him, and I mean, I don't think that bothers me one way or another. I did like that when we did get him, he was a little more intelligent, I think, than I initially thought. The fact that he knew what the Commandant was up to, and he was like, stupid Helene, I had to kill your family because you barged in here and had to make a big scene. I was kind of like, oh dang, Helene, you done messed up. Harper though was a character that I definitely found intriguing. I'm excited to see what happens with him in the third book because, I mean, he's a character that when you first introduced to him, you're like, wow, he's awful. And then you kind of get to know him a little bit more and you're like, is he? I don't know if I was super surprised. I'm curious if you guys were surprised when you found out that he's apparently Elias's half-brother. Speaking of Elias though, let's talk about Elias and Laya. I actually really liked what ended up happening with Elias in the end because, you know, he's poisoned and supposedly this poison is not going to be able to be cured. And I was like, okay, so I don't think Elias is going to be completely out of the picture. But I also would be bummed if it was like, oh, Helene just needs to sing to him and he'll be fine. So I was for sure expecting him to still be around by book 3. I just didn't know how it was going to play out, and I kind of respected the way that it played out. I do want to say though, for being a mask, for him and Helene supposedly being so amazing and awesome and oh, we can get by, we're masks. I feel like that's kind of thrown around a lot. Like we'll get by, we're awesome and we're trained and stuff. They get themselves into trouble a lot. So there was a part of me that respected that Elias was thinking, I only have so much time left, I'm probably gonna die soon. It's better if I go out on my own, I'll make it to that prison quicker and then I can try to save Laya's brother. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do it on your own. Like, I knew that that wasn't gonna go down, but I really don't think he had much choice in the matter. He knew his time was limited and he wanted to do everything he could to at least try. So I wasn't mad about it. I just figured it would fail. So when it did fail, I wasn't like, oh no, he's captured. But oh my gosh, was anybody else so annoyed when he finally has a plan that works and he gets to Laya's brother and he's like, we're getting out of here, man, I'm here to help you. And her brother was like, no. Oh my gosh, I get you've been through so much and you think this is a trap and you think that they're just trying to mess with you and stuff, but at the same time as a reader, it was so aggravating. This is gonna sound super mean, but I don't know if that was more aggravating or when Laya was like, we have to help these scholars, even though all these masks and all of our enemies are coming down to hunt these people. The part that I'm referring to is when Laia is arguing, I forget the chick's name, with the lady that's like running the caravan. And she's arguing about trying to hide these scholars from their enemies, and all the scouts are like, the enemies are coming. And she's like, we are saving them, or I'm just gonna make it known that we're here. I think that it was heroic in a way, but like it sucks because she's trying to do the right thing, and you know, I mean, I don't want her to be like, nope, sorry, tough luck for you guys. And I'm not mad at Laia for wanting to help people. I'm just mad because Laia's not the one actually providing the help. All she does is point her finger at other people and she's like, help them or else, help them or else. You are not standing there with a knife getting ready to fight. You're still hiding in the caravan with them. Like, you are forcing other people to put themselves into trouble for you and what you want. I will say though, I wasn't expecting Izzy to die. I was expecting Izzy to die in the first book, so I'm like, surely if she's made it this far, she'll make it even further. And then when she didn't, I was like, oh, shoot, I guess Izzy's dead. That did bum me out a little bit. That made me a little sad. I think Izzy was one of my favorite characters because she was just so nice and she was so pure-hearted. When Izzy dies, I don't know that I liked that was kind of a catalyst to Keenan and Elias' intimacy. If I was feeling guilt from my friend's death, I don't know that I would want to get it on. Since we're on the topic of Keenan though, I wasn't expecting Keenan to basically just be a form of the Nightbringer. I kind of wish I knew a little bit more about the lore in this story. It's so character driven, and that's great, and I love character driven stories. I wish that I kind of knew more about the lore in general though, so that maybe I could possibly predict that this was a possibility. Maybe, does that make sense in a way? I don't know, maybe you guys totally called it and you're like, I think he's the Nightbringer. Maybe you guys knew, but I almost felt like I didn't know that that was a possibility. So like, how could I have guessed? And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I don't need to have the possibility of guessing. I just like when I do possibly have the possibility of guessing. The last thing I'll say though is with Laia and Keenan, I mean, she told him that she loved him and she gave him her little armlet because she loved him and she cared for him. And then pretty quickly when she was like, oh shoot, I guess he was the Nightbringer, that's awkward, she reunites with Elias and she's like, finally, we're kissing. And I just kind of was like, didn't you just say you loved this other person? But weirdly enough, maybe I just wanted the will they won't they to extend for longer and keep me on the edge of my seat for more time. Actually, a second ago I said that was the last thing I would say, but I do have one more thing to say. I still don't understand how, I mean, I mentioned this in my book review of the first one. I don't understand how everybody looks so different, but yet they can differentiate people based off of whether they're scholar or not. What I mean is, how is it possible that Laia is dark-skinned with gold eyes and dark hair and her brother's blonde? I guess I don't understand. And then Keenan had red hair and he was a scholar and they were all scholars. And but they treat scholars in the book like, if you can just tell, like, oh, that person's a scholar. And I'm like, how do you know? Shoot, actually, I have one more thing I want to say. I can't stand, okay, this is the stupidest thing ever. I'm not a big fan of when important things are going down, yet the characters still have time to chat about how good looking other characters are. One scene that kind of displays this is when the lady that runs the caravan is talking to Laia and she's kind of getting information with Laia about what's the deal with you and this Keenan guy, what's the deal with you? And Elias like, I kind of need to know. She's like, because you know, both of them are pretty sexy, am I right? I get it. They're all very beautiful individuals. I get that they're all good looking. Laia thinks it. Elias thinks it about her. Elias thinks it about Helene. Laia thinks Helene's pretty. Helene thinks Elias. Like, I get that they're all pretty. Do we need other characters to remind me and bring it up at what I feel are maybe not the best of times? Anyway, that is it for my book chat of A Torch Against the Night. For those of you that have read this though, I am curious what your thoughts were on it. I think that this book is so character driven that people are going to feel very differently about different characters. As always though, thanks so much for watching. Happy reading to all of you and I'll see you later. Bye.